The Useless Mage by Captain writes poems on TikTok. No one ever said it out loud, but everyone thought it. Sim was the weakest mage in the kingdom. He couldn't conjure fireballs, or summon storms, or grow a beard as long as his staff. What he could do was things like keep bread warm for exactly 11 minutes, dry a wet sock, turn spilled tea back into the cup. Mostly.
Useful in a tavern,
The others chuckled.
not on a battlefield.
But Sim didn't mind. He liked the quiet things. The small things. He wore soft robes, told bad jokes, and always had a sweet treat or two in his sleeve. When the kingdom was invaded by shadow beasts, creatures born from cursed starlight, they didn't come on their own. They were led by a banished mage. Once human, now more beast than man, twisted by bitterness and old magic gone wrong. He had been forgotten by the realm, but he had not forgotten the realm. The high mages tried every spell in the great tomes. Fire was swallowed, ice melted, swords bent like paper. The beasts couldn't be touched by force. The people panicked. The capital fell. And Sim sat on a crate in a broken bakery, eating a scone he'd rewarmed with a twitch of his pinky. He didn't have a plan, but he had a memory. Years ago, an old mage, some would say older than magic itself, with eyebrows like cobwebs, told him, "The smallest magic, repeated with love, is stronger than 1,000 spells shouted in anger." At the time, Sim had been trying to teach his spoon not to rattle in his tea. Still, he remembered. That night, while the others retreated, trying to regroup for a counterattack, Sim walked into the heart of the storm to the throne room, where the largest shadow beast was coiled like smoke. Lightning crackled along the windows. Wind howled through the broken glass. Sim took a deep breath. He whispered a warmth spell into the floor, just enough to make the stone less cruel. He steadied each candle one by one, until they flickered in soft harmony. He sang softly an old tune from the academy, the kind sung in kitchens while stirring soup or sweeping the corners of a quiet study. His voice shook at first, but grew steadier with every verse. The room, impossibly, began to feel lived in. Less like the end of the world, more like a memory. And then, the storm quieted. From within the swirling dark, a figure stepped forward. Cloaked in shadows, eyes like dying embers. A crown of twisted bone resting on his head. The banished mage. He looked at Sim and tilted his head.
You're not what I expected.
He said. Sim shrugged. No one ever is. The mage stared at him for a long while. Then, to Sim's surprise, he sat beside him. Just sat. The storm paused around them, like it too was listening. I didn't come here to fight, Sim said. I came to sit and listen if you'd like. The mage didn't speak, but he stayed, and for a moment it was quiet. A small magic, holding back the end of the world. Sim didn't cast fire. He whispered warmth into the stone. He smoothed the air. He rewound the flickering candles again and again until the shadows stopped twitching. And finally, when the silence was ready, he cast his final spell. The one he'd never used, to trade a moment of fear for a lifetime of peace. They found Sim the next morning, sitting in the center of the throne room. Eyes closed, body still. The shadow beast was gone. So was the storm. On the ground beside him was a note, written in warm ink. The smallest magic, repeated with love, is stronger than 1,000 spells, shouted in anger. Now, every mage in the kingdom learns Sim's spells first. The tea unspiller, the sock dryer, the candle steadier. Not because they're powerful, but because someday someone else might need them.